Good evening, everyone. Please confirm from you make use of the chat box or your emojis to confirm if I'm audible. If you are hearing me clearly, can you please confirm? All right. Thank you so much. Compliment of the season to every one of us. So the class will start anywhere from now. We are waiting for our facilitator to join us. So now if you have joined us, please, we can signify so that we know that you are here, sir. Sorry, we will start 10 minutes from now. We are just waiting for the facilitator to join us. Okay, you can mute yourself, sir.
All right, good evening, everybody.
Okay, good evening, sir.
Happy holidays, late Merry Christmas, and Happy New Year, just in case we forget.
Okay, thank you so much, sir. Please, everyone, can you please confirm if engineers is audible? Make use of your chat box or your emojis to confirm. All right. Okay, so let's start. Okay, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, good evening and welcome. I welcome you all to today's session. I warmly welcome you to tonight's knowledge sharing. We sincerely appreciate your time, your commitment to learning, and your dedication to excellence in Lagos State public service. Uh, this evening, this evening session is particularly significant. It addresses an issue that touches our daily lives, our safety, and our productivity, and our responsibility as a public servant and citizen. Today's topic is road safety, vehicle compliance, and public responsibility at the role of every public servant. I mean, you and I. So this is to merely a transport or enforcement discussion. It is a governance conversation. It is speak to discipline, professionalism, accountability, and the role of public servants as safety ambassador and role model. So as role model in society, as Lagos continue to grow as a global mega city, the importance of safety, road safety, compliant vehicles, and the responsible conduct cannot be overemphasized. Road safety is directly linked to safety delivery, workspace, productivity, public confidence, and the achievement of the Teams Plus agenda, particularly in the area of transportation governance and sustainable development. So to guide us through this very important disclosure, we are deeply honored to host uh, for the first time on our public service knowledge platform, a distinguished professional, a seasoned technocrat, and a respected public sector leader, Engineer Akin George Fashola, Director and State Chief Vehicle Inspection Service, VIS, Lagos State. Engineer Fashola is widely known for his visionary leadership and operational excellence in the vehicle inspection services. Under his stewardship, VIS has continued to raise standards in vehicle safety, compliance and inspection processes, ensuring that Lagos State remain at the forefront of road safety management in Nigeria and in align with global best practice. His work alongside his dedicated team has contributed significantly to making Lagos State a reference point in transportation safety, regulatory compliance, and innovation. Fully supports the vision of the Things Plus agenda to position Lagos as a smart, safety, and global competitive city. Beyond enforcement, Engineer Fashola has championed education awareness and collaboration, recognizing the sustainable road safety can only be achieved when citizens and public servants understand their roles and responsibility. Our distinguished colleagues, ladies and gentlemen, it is therefore both an honor and privilege to learn directly from a professional whose work continue to shape safer road, stronger institution, and better governance outcomes in Lagos State. Sir, we are delighted to have you with us on the Public Service Knowledge Hub platform. We sincerely appreciate your willingness to share your experience and insight with officers across MDAs and cadres. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, with your emojis, join me in welcome Engineer Fashola to the class. You have the floor, sir.
Thank you very much, Mr. Jamiu. Good evening, everybody. It's a pleasure. I believe all the accolades, well, I don't know if I deserve all that, but we'll proceed ahead. So as Mr. Jamiu has rightfully said, road safety, vehicle compliance, public responsibility, and the role of every public servant is a very critical issue. Where do I start? So for me, road safety is not just about, us doing enforcement, us making sure that you have the right particulars, your vehicle is in good shape, blah, blah. If you don't understand the reason why we do what we do, we will always have conflict within ourselves. So, public servants represent Lagos State government to the public at large. They see us, I don't want to say emulate us, but they reflect on what we do, on how we do it, so that they get a sense of how they themselves will behave. And if we portray a mannerism where we always uphold ourselves to the highest standards, it'll favor everybody likewise. So, as I said here, encourage public responsibility on the roads, ensure compliance. We have a special duty to promote safe behavior. So to get a better understanding, if people see public servants demonstrate a higher level of behavior, it's only natural that they tend to emulate, because they know they cannot run anywhere to hide their own shortcomings. So when you look at, for you to understand road safety itself, Mr. Jami, am I in control of the screen?
Okay, I share the screen, but
Okay,
I
that's
don't know if
fine.
you can control from your side.
No, I see it. Don't worry. So
Okay, sir.
when we talk about road safety, uh, you know, the misunderstanding people have is that, oh, I know how to drive or I own a car, but it goes beyond that. Do you know the traffic rules and regulations? Are you driving safe and defensively? Are you wearing seatbelts? I know it's difficult to do, avoiding distractions such as using mobile phones, not driving under the influence of alcohol, respecting pedestrians and cyclists. All these things come together to form what we believe to be road safety. It is the essence of making sure that everybody, is cohesive on the road. And there are reasons for this, right? So because the road itself is a shared asset, you have to think about it this way. You are not the only one driving on the road, right? So you must apply yourself to condition your thought such that you have to be able to anticipate what the next driver is going to do in terms of driving, which means don't follow vehicles too closely because you never know what the reaction is going to be. Always drive within a safe parameter where you can make maneuvers if you need to, right? So Lagos State is getting to a point where 60-70% of what we do on the motorways are going to be controlled digitally. We have the speed cameras now. We have cameras that do documentation on vehicles. Soon we will have cameras this one is for heavy duty vehicles that will weigh them as they move along our roads because we have weight limits on each road in Lagos State. And this is to protect the road infrastructure, if not anything else, because the heavier the loads on the road, the more the roads are damaged. And we spend a lot of money trying to fix the road on a yearly basis. So it only makes sense for us to protect it, right? And those are part. If you look at some of the things that causes road accidents on it, which is the next slide, like I said, over speeding, reckless driving, distraction, ignoring traffic rules and signs. Let me point on this ignoring traffic rules and signs. Now, it has been my understanding, maybe it's just me, but I have noticed that a lot of our drivers on the road do not particularly lend themselves to looking for road signs. Now, don't get me wrong, Ministry of Transport puts out road signs all the time. They just happen to get stolen. People steal them for various reasons, and they damage them. People run into the signpost and destroy them. But if you understand the rules and the signs, it'll help you disseminate a lot of information that we're trying to pass along. And from what you're seeing, a lot of this can cause preventable accidents through awareness, discipline, and compliance. It is such a critical aspect of it. If we go to the next slide, so you look at what is called vehicle compliance, meeting all legal standards, safety standard, your license, your vehicle registration. Now, the fourth point, functionality of the vehicles. The fifth point, regular maintenance of your car. Now, if you look historically people are owning cars, right? As it relates to public service. Let me put it that way. So if you're not maintaining the car, the thing about vehicles are that, first of all, it is a mechanical device and it can disappoint you at any given time. You need to be aware of that. Yeah, it doesn't matter how expensive your car is. It could be a Rolls Royce, it could be a Corolla. A vehicle or car can embarrass you at any given time due to a mechanical fault. It might not even be your own fault, but that's the nature of cars. They are designed, they are used, and they can fail. So it is only through regular vehicle maintenance that you can stay on top of what you need to do to make sure the car is on par, or to do what you need it to do, right? So, and if you're not maintaining it, then whatever you get from it is yours to take. So, which is one of the reasons why we have built into a roadworthiness certification that you must bring the car once a year for inspection, right? So as part of the fee that you pay for roadworthiness certification, you must bring the car once a year. Let us help you check it, tell you this and this is not right for it, right? But let's move on to the next slide, which I think is of pertinent discussion here. So Lagos state law as it applies to public servants. Now, a lot of people think that because I drive government vehicle, some things don't apply to them. Unfortunately, it doesn't go that way at all. So if you look at it, and this applies to all levels of government, right? So this is why the rules are made for everybody. Okay, government vehicles are not exempt from any procurement of mandatory vehicle documentation. There is no government vehicle that is exempt. Yeah, even Mr. Governor's vehicle must be documented. It just doesn't go through the same process that you and I go through, right? Traffic laws don't apply to vehicle on official duty. Lie. Traffic law and your official duty are not the same thing, right? Let me give you an example. During the last administration of Governor Ambode, the Honorable Commissioner sent me on an assignment in Victoria Island, and there was mad traffic that day. And the only way I could meet that appointment was if I take BRT lane. And everybody knows that nobody, and I repeat, nobody is allowed on BRT lane, right? So now, if I pass BRT lane, Director of Vehicle Inspection Service, I can probably get away with it, but I'd be breaking the law. And you know what I told him that day? I said, sir, I can do this, but you have to give me permission to go on BRT lane. He said, no, I can't do that. And I told him, plain and simple. Well, then I said, if that's the case, I cannot. There's no way. And then he said, forget about it, because I cannot stick my neck out on that. So things like that is not allowed. This one is number 3 is a very difficult one. The use of plate numbers on multiple vehicles as long as it's government owned. So maybe somebody gets a new car now. They take the old government plate number and put it on the new one. No, that's not how it works. So, it's a 2-step process. One, when the vehicle is being purchased, it has to have a normal plate, which is the blue plate. That is how you get the blueprint of that vehicle. Then from that blueprint, you now apply for the government plate number. It is a matter of accountability, trying to formalize the register so the state can account for all the vehicles that they have in the system. And I know a lot of my colleagues do this a lot, which is wrong. They'll take a plate number from a previous car and just transfer it. It is very wrong, right? Another one is vehicle maintenance is the responsibility of the MDA, not the individual. No. Okay, so that's a double-edged sword. Let me tell you why it's a double-edged sword. If the ministry or the MDA gives a public servant a car, as part of his responsibility is to provide for the maintenance. So I don't know how many people know this or don't know this, but every ministry has a budget for vehicle maintenance. Vehicles that was bought under the ministry's budget, there's an allocation for it. Now, if it gets to you, is a different thing. But the minute that vehicle is assigned to you, the responsibility for maintaining it is yours and yours alone. Now, if you go through the proper channel, they can give you assistance. So, but I'm not aware that a lot of people know about this, right? So it tends to get swept under the table. If admin and HR collects maintenance allocation for, say, 30 vehicles in the ministry, and you don't submit it, they will not call you. Do you understand? They will not call you. You're on your own. But if you two stay on top of it, right, you are supposed to. Now, supposed to and actually getting it done is two different things. Oh. I'm not saying all the time that they get the resources that they need to maintain the vehicles, but it is part of ministerial duties to maintain vehicles that you give to officers in that ministry. Another one is, I was on emergency assignment. That's why I obstructed the law. No, that one doesn't work. So maybe before, when we were not using technology, you could get away with that. But now that we use tech, if I tell you different MDAs in Lagos State that owe Lagos State government fines, you will laugh. Because when the camera sees the plate number, whether it be security plate number or ordinary plate number, you know, most of these vehicles are registered under either public service office or the MDA itself. So what we do is we tabulate, and then we send to each ministry that this is how much you owe Lagos State money, because the vehicle is registered under the MDA. And if ministry is doing what they're supposed to do, they will simply just go through the files, right, and look at who they assigned the vehicle to. Oga, here's your bill. Please go and sort it out, because nobody told you to violate traffic law. Traffic law does not exempt anybody in public service. We must understand that. Now, let's go to the next slide, which is, I think, the meat and potatoes of why we're here. So if you look at the role of public servants, right? Let me use myself as an example. I'm the Director of Vehicle Inspection Service. If I don't renew my roadworthiness certification on a yearly basis, there is nobody on this platform. There is nobody in this Lagos state that can hold me, because I'm in charge of that particular entity. But let me tell you this, you can ask my colleagues at work, my officers, I do it without question, because I want to set an example. Even as I'm speaking to you, sometimes when I get in the office or I see some of my colleagues' cars, I seize it, because I always tell them, what kind of car are you driving? And you are supposed to be an enforcement officer. How can you be driving a vehicle like this that portrays you in a bad light? So when people see you, they have a negative impact of, if an officer can do it, what is wrong with me? I do it as a matter of principle, that I cannot be seen to be obstructing law. Police, federal road safety, they stop me all the time. And I go straight to, you want to see my documents? I show it to them. Let me tell you a little trick to help you with, at least for vehicular documentation and not forgetting. So we all have smartphones, right? This is what I do. My vehicle, the roadworthiness, the vehicle license, and the insurance, I always program it on my phone's calendar. If it is going to expire, say on the 15th of January next year, I will program the phone's calendar to remind me a month before it expires and 2 weeks before it expires. Now, that is an extra precaution from what VIS does, because we also send out SMSs to the registered telephone number on the system that a month before, 2 weeks before, and a week before expiration of roadworthiness, we try to remind you that it is going to expire, so that you don't fall foul, because I know it's something very easy to forget. Once you get it, you make photocopy and you put it inside the glove box, and remembering that it expires on a specific day, and it expires at 11:59 p.m. of the day prior to the date printed on it. It doesn't expire on that day. It expires 11:59 p.m. of the night prior to the date. I don't know if you are following me. So if it expires on the 30th and you wait till the 30th, it has already expired on the 29th at 11:59. So people need to be aware of that. Then maintaining vehicle compliance without exception, misuse of official vehicles. Some of the roles that we are trying to promote is road safety awareness among colleagues. I get all the time public servants, colleagues that come to my office. I'm a civil servant. I can't afford this. First of all, let me tell you something that a lot of you don't know. Either as a private citizen or as a public servant, the fine that you are giving Lagos State is free money. You know, when you give someone free money, let me break it down for you. Okay, so for each fine in Lagos State, for each offense, the minimum you can pay is 20,000 naira. That is the minimum for each offense as it relates to traffic violation. Not having documents, driving without a license, running red light, all those things are traffic offenses. So the minimum you can pay is 20,000 naira. Now, if you look at vehicular documentation, let's take that for instance. So I think vehicle license for most cars is about, I don't know, 6,000 to 7,000, depending on the type of car you have. Vehicle license, I think it's about the same thing, just depends on the category. The only thing that I know is a lot more expensive now is the insurance, which used to be 5,000, now is 15,000. So if you look at all that money, let's give a bulk figure of say 30,000 naira, right? So when the camera catches you and you don't have any of those three documents, that's a 60,000 naira fine every time you do it, as opposed to paying 30,000 once a year. Now, I think that only makes sense that 60 to 30 and the 60,000, which is the fine, does not exempt you from also procuring the documents, because for you to pay the fine, you must also do the validation of the documentation. So all in all, you have just spent 90K and 60 of it goes to Lagos State government for free, right? So these are some of the things that we need to talk about. And I think in this discussion tonight, I will hope that you have pertinent questions that I can answer honestly. And I want to stress the point about the reason vehicle inspection services demands that you bring your vehicle for inspection once a year is not to harass or disturb anybody. It's for a better cause, because if we can limit breakdowns on our roads, if we can limit accidents on our road through this process, it goes in tandem with Mr. Governor's themes agenda to reducing traffic fatalities, traffic congestions on our road, because that formulates a lot of it. The minute a vehicle breaks down, it causes a lot of problems on a daily basis. So, it only makes sense to have such things. And I think the process and procedure is a good one. It can be improved, but it's a good one overall. And we are working audaciously to try and improve that system of inspection to make it a lot easier for people. One of the things that we are trying to do as well is from next year, although it's already in place, but from next year, you will be able to renew your roadworthiness certification online without going to any station. Now, let me clarify that. When I say you'll be able to renew online, you can book, make payments, pick the station you want to get tested at online. So the only time that you will need to come to any center, any testing center, is the time, place that you, the vehicle owner, has picked by yourself within the time period allowed to come and do your test. I think that's a better avenue. But bear in mind, that system is only available to vehicle owners that have an existing database with us. So if you are a new vehicle owner and that vehicle is just newly registered, you will not have access to that platform. But if you're an existing vehicle owner that is already on the database of Vehicle Inspection Service, you will be able to apply for a renewal certification through an online process. And you will be allowed to pick the day, the venue that you want the vehicle to be tested within the period allowed. So, I don't want to flog this issue a lot in conclusion. So you will see that vehicle inspection is something that is, interconnected. Every public servant has a duty to uphold these values, both on and off duty. But I think the biggest plug for me is being law-abiding and taking that responsibility on, being safety conscious, which I know a lot of you are, will go a long way to let our citizens, Lagos State citizens, know that this is the way Lagos State government wants us to go. And it provides an avenue to contribute to the responsibility of everybody driving on the road and letting us be safe. I think it's not a hard thing to do. It takes discipline. Nobody wants their vehicles to just kaput on the road, to put it that way. But I think you have to contribute to that effort. If you don't water flower, it will not grow. So if you do not maintain a car, it will not last long. So you need to formulate that strategy where that interconnectivity between vehicle maintenance, public responsibility, and road safety in general is part of your daily culture. It'll help you in a lot of ways. On that note, I want to conclude this minor session, and let's have questions and answers, because I think that is where the meat and potatoes of this particular forum will give us insights into what we need to do. Thank you very much.
All right, thank you so much, sir. Can I see your emojis to appreciate engineer, please? Your emojis, we are more than 60 here. I'm only seeing one person appreciating engineer here.
I see a lot of it. We are all we are one big family here, and it is going well. So please, I'm expecting tangible questions to help everybody out, so that we understand each other and we can proceed, in doing the right things.
All right, sir.
There is no stupid question, so please ask.
Any question? So please, if you have question, raise your hand. Use the emoji to raise your hand so that we can unmute you. Please ask question. I think I can learn new thing today about the some process. Okay. Mr. Wejamiu, unmute yourself, sir. Good evening, sir.
Hello, good evening, Mr. Jamiu. Good morning, Director. Good evening, sir.
Good evening. How are you?
I'm fine. Thank you for all you've done for us, even while we're at a recess time. As I have a concern, it's a question, but it's a concern to me.
Okay.
Like you said, when you were speaking to us, you said there are many other things we're doing that we want to improve. It's a prospect that we have going forward. I want to ask if this is in the pipeline, the issue of harmonizing renewal of our VIS with the insurance and the vehicle license, as it were. I will give a practical example. If my papers are due maybe 25th of December, and the insurance is maybe 28th of December or 29th, and you see the VIS, even while I paid and do the normal this thing, and you are giving a paper to go to a place where you are going to do the test. And when you go and do the test, they'll tell you the day you do the payment is the day the expiry date starts to be counted.
Yeah.
So before you know it, you have about 3 days. You have maybe 25 for vehicle license, you have 27 for insurance, and you have 3rd of January for uh, VIS, and they get staggered. And an attempt for you to even try and make sure you do all of those things within a time. You know, it's a sacrosanct for vehicle license. Even if you do it a day before or a day after, it will retain the date that you have done the last one. So I don't
Yes.
know what we can do within this avenue. That's number one, sir. The second aspect also that we need to look at is when the expiry date of your vehicle license or even the VIS fall on a public holiday, say 24th of December or 25th of, because it is counted before when you have your paper signed.
Yeah.
So, and the implication is that if you have a Good Friday and you have a Good Friday and a Easter Monday, and if unfortunately it's now you have a Friday, a Saturday, a Sunday, and a Monday, and you are in between those 4 days that your paper expires, the implications is either you don't move out for that 4 days or you move out and the light picks you. So what do we do around those things, sir? So those are the areas that I want us to look at. Thank you, sir.
Okay. That's a fantastic question. Let me take it for you. So, vehicle license, you cannot change the date in which the document is going to expire. It is always the same date, like you rightfully said. I don't have control about that. Now, for vehicle inspection service, we don't, your documentation is predicated on the day you do or you apply for the roadworthiness certification, right? So it starts from that day that you applied and paid for it, that it enters the system. Now, the problem with that is that we cannot preempt the date that is going to fall under. Now, so there's also a reason for that as well. So most of these things is going to be dictated by Lagos State traffic law. So under Lagos State traffic law, it says that every time you put that vehicle on the road, anytime you put it on the road, that the documentation must be complete, right? It doesn't matter if it is holiday or no holiday. This is part of the reason that if you have proper documentation with vehicle inspection services, as in we have your telephone number and we have your details, we will send to that telephone number notice of expiration a month, 2 weeks, and a week before expiration, so that allows you to cover time, as opposed to vehicle license where you cannot change the date of expiration. Vehicle roadworthiness certification is movable, right? If I'm sending you 2 weeks to expiration that your document is going to expire, 1 week before it's going to expire. Now, so some holidays are fixed to a certain date, right? But some holidays move about. That is where your own responsibility as a vehicle owner has to come into play, because everything cannot be perfect. And we cannot tailor the system to align together. Like what you're asking, why can't all the documents have one date? Now, I'll tell you the reason why you cannot have all documents on one date. If you are not using your vehicle on the road, I am not authorized to demand roadworthiness certificate for you. Because you're not using it. It is not on Lagos State roads. Whether you parked into your house or it's in the mechanical, you don't need roadworthiness when you are fixing a car or you're not using it. So it's a double-edged sword in that if you are paying roadworthiness, you are just wasting money. A vehicle that is not useful, you are parked it somewhere. Now, with vehicle license, which is Motor Vehicle Administration Agency, whether you use it or you don't use it, you will pay that fine. If you like, leave the car in your house for 5 years from now. When you come to say you want to use it and you want to renew the license, they will backdate all the years that you have on it. So likewise, VIS and insurance are the same in that you only pay for what you use. So if you're not using the vehicle, I don't have to charge you, which is why those dates cannot be aligned. Do you understand me, sir? That's a short.
Yes, quite well, sir.
Yeah.
That's a new lesson learned, sir. And I think the orientation is not the way you have said it. I can say, fine, I know little of this, maybe because I'm in public servant, maybe because I am close to the agency. But
Yes.
I tell you, more often, when you don't even use your vehicle, and your vehicle is at home, the vehicle license, we do understand it can be charged. But the same way the public, one must of Enyara allow to the better. The vehicle that is parked, when you want to go do the VIS, or even the VIS, you don't do it, they send a notice to you that your vehicle, you don't have a roadworthiness certificate, even while the vehicle is not on the road.
Okay,
And sir,
fantastic.
the other one you just said, and the other one you said now, sir, I know we are not perfect. I am part of the system, and I'm not going to condemn it. But where there is fault, I will open up and say it just
Okay.
for us to move better. But like my own vehicle, and I know that I have my date is always the first week in January, so that
Okay.
as soon as we resume the second day of January, I know my papers are going to be done. But I tell you, today is 29th or 28th. The 1 month notice, the 2 weeks notice up till now, I don't have any notification. And I know it's the only single number I use for my registration. I dare
Okay.
to say this, and I'm very, very sure about it.
Okay,
But I
fine. So
know
let
that
me
my
ask you,
papers have not been notified.
let me ask you a question. Do you get
Yes, sir.
messages that you have violated the traffic offense?
I've got once.
You got
And
one.
that once, yes, I also contested it. It was
Okay,
from
fine.
a whistleblower who was so overzealous,
Zealous.
and I was still charged. He
Okay.
was overzealous. It was a whistleblower where it was just in front of my house that I was charged, and I was bent to pay for it, which I did.
Okay, so Mr. Abiodun, I want to say that if you
Yes, sir.
can get a notification saying that you violated a traffic offense, you should be getting SMSs because it's that same number that they are using to send you violation notice. That is the same number
I
that
agree. I agree, sir. I agree, sir. I said, but this year, I don't know what happened. Maybe it's a system collapse. Maybe it's a woman error. I have 2 vehicles, and I get notification. Even the vehicle that I've sold 3 years ago, they still send the notification to my own phone after that person has even changed all the particulars. This person, I still get notification that your insurance or your VIS is going to be due this. I still get that one. So the
Okay.
normal one I still use, the vehicle that is active now, I don't get, sir. I don't get.
Okay, you know what? This is not a hard thing to do at all.
All right, sir.
On Monday or maybe after the holiday, you
Yes,
can
sir.
just breeze into. There's a session there in inside Alausa, or maybe if you have a chance to come to HQ, we can sort out this issue and move forward and make sure the right thing is being done as per your own vehicle, that you're getting the notifications. They can check. It's not a manual system, it's an automated system that goes out automatically. So it's not someone sitting there saying, okay, I'm going to send Mr. Abiodun notification that your vehicle is going to expire. It is an automated system that looks at everything on the database and automatically sends it. So if something is not getting to you, that means there's an error somewhere. We can look at it. It's not a big deal at all, sir.
All right. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Awi, for that. Okay, Mr. Shakiruddin Logun, unmute yourself.
Hello, sir. Good evening, sir.
Good evening.
Good evening, sir.
Compliments of the season, sir.
Same to you.
Sir, I have a couple of questions, sir. Some of them have been raised by the first speaker, sir.
Okay.
But the first one, I want to pick it up from the area of Lagos State Drivers Institute, their permit or their license, sir. Is it necessary for me when I'm driving another person's vehicle and I can present the person whose vehicle I'm driving is also in that vehicle? And one of the officers was contesting that even though I gave my driver's license, I gave my ID card through as a staff of the state government, that he was contesting that I was supposed to be in possession of that last degree. And I said, no, I am not a commercial driver, and I don't use driving as my occupation. So it is only meant for people who are drivers and whose occupations are drivers. So I want you to clarify that for me, sir, first. Then secondly, sir, you mentioned some of the causes of road accidents,
Yes, sir.
such as driving under the influence of alcohol, improper maintenance of vehicle, what is it again? This defensive driving. Yes, defensive driving. And unfortunately, sir, everything you have highlighted are true. But you can find them in the commercial driver sector, especially the yellow buses, or anybody that drives commercial in Lagos. Everything you have highlighted is just part of it, especially when you are in traffic. You even see, especially on the Ikorodu corridor here, where you have people facing one way because of just a breakdown of just about 10 minutes or thereabout. Then, in all of this, where is the position of the Lasema response unit to clearing all those things? Because I have been opportune to have been rescued once by the LRU. My vehicle broke down, and before I could say Jack, someone was around with a motorcycle. What was the fault? I told him, and he was able to help me out. So perhaps if we have this again, Lagos State can be in a tandem with the Mr. Governor's agenda. So, and I want to also commend you, sir, that I saw you on a TV station where you personally apprehended a commercial vehicle, and when you conducted the journalists around the vehicle, it was a coffin on its own. So, and where was the VIS officers not to have noticed or not to have apprehended that vehicle until you stepped in? Thank you, sir. That would be my question for now, sir.
Okay. Thank you. So the first question you asked, I think you answered it yourself, which is,
all right, sir.
If you are not a commercial driver and you don't earn a living from driving, the law does not require you to own a luxury card. Please, I want to implore you, the next time, or everybody on this platform, if an officer is being overzealous in the quest of his duty, report them. I don't tolerate nonsense, because they know this as a fact. So you should have reported him. Those are the things that we tell them. Don't be disturbing people that you know he has shown you the documentation, he has shown you the evidence. I'm not a commercial driver. See, this issue that you are talking about, right, it is a big one. And so the responsibility also with the officers are that, how do you disseminate in our environment who is earning money from driving and who is not? There is a gray area. Some of them have instant IQ to know that, okay, sorry, sir, you can be on your way. Please go. But some of them, I honestly, I'm disappointed in some of them. You know, if you want to be sure, you ask 1 or 2 questions, and if they can answer comfortably, please have a nice day. Be on your merry way. Do you understand? But I need people
Yes,
to
sir.
understand that if you do not report them, you cannot correct the situation. It'll just go unattended to, right? The next question, which is you were asking about LRU. That's no, sorry, about the downfall drivers. Let me tell
Yes, sir.
you on this platform right now. Every day, I'm not saying one day, every day, we have 43 zones spread across Lagos State. And every day we apprehend almost, give or take, 50 downfalls a day. 50. I didn't say 5.
Wow.
50. And a lot of people don't know or appreciate it. That's a lot of vehicles on a daily basis. So some of the limitations that we have is, one, even if you apprehend them, where do you park them? There are limited spaces to put these vehicles on. And you cannot hold them for more than 24 hours. You have to charge them with something. And then also, there's the responsibility of safeguarding their vehicle. That is a responsibility that falls on us, even though they are violators. If something happens to the vehicle, is a problem. Then there is the aggressive nature in which they present themselves. A lot of times we have to take into consideration officer safety, right?
Yeah.
You can't even imagine some of the things that go on. Yes, if you come to headquarters, if not in 1 week, I will apprehend 2 myself.
Yes.
You know, it's just so many violations. But we are trying to change the system, not VIS, but Ministry of Transport is trying to change the system with a new program called Bus Reform Initiative. I'm hopeful that we will accomplish this, but we are piloting that program on the island first and try to see how we can emulate it across the state on a larger scale. But, you know, let's see what happens. But I think if I'm being honest, right now, truth be told, if Lagos State were to take the downfalls off the road, it's not that we can't take them off the road. If we remove all of them off the road now, we will be shooting ourselves in the foot because we don't have capacity to augment what they bring. So in that aspect, we will continue to manage their situation till we get to a point where we can hold them and just eradicate them completely. But for the meantime, what we are doing is managing the situation. So we hold about 50 every day. Some pay their fines. A lot of them, we ask them to do the repairs within the compound before they can leave, you know, and this and that and this and that. I can't explain everything to you, but that is the situation.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Sir, another thing, sir, is that I saw a situation where I've seen it like 2 or 3 times now, sir.
Okay.
That you see a commercial vehicle, one is loaded. Sorry, both are loaded.
Yeah.
Perhaps one is without engine and is pushing the other one while the bus behind is loaded. And most of these things go unnoticed or unattended to. So I would say that before now, during the administration of His Excellency the PRF,
yes,
most of these guys, they fell in line. They fell in line naturally because there were the extant laws, there was enforcement, there were rules and all that they dare not. So what has happened or what has changed, sir?
Mr. Shakiruddin, that question you asked me is beyond my pay grade.
All right, sir. I take it as that, sir.
Okay, sir, Mr. Shakiruddin.
Thank you.
I'll take it as that, sir.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Shakiruddin. Tolani Oyebo, unmute yourself. Good evening.
Hello, good evening, sir.
Good
Good
evening.
evening, ma'am.
Good evening, PS. Compliment of the season to you and my other senior colleagues in the house.
Yes, please.
Yes, I have a personal question because this happened to me. It's similar to what the speaker before the last speaker talked about.
Okay.
I was going to go across PWD to Ladipo.
Okay.
Due to the fact that the railway was put under locked, it
Yeah.
was blocked,
Yeah.
and it was on a Sunday. So I parked my car just after the fence before we get to the work yard,
Okay.
and then I used the railway to the other side. And before I came back, I got a notification that I have violated one of the traffic law.
Yes. You
And
will.
then I went online
Mhm.
and I saw a video of my car being filmed or being recorded
Yeah.
that I parked
Illegally.
where I'm not supposed to park. And
Yes.
first of all, it was on a Sunday. And then the person said I parked in front or beside the LASMA office. He corrected himself on the video and said, no, just before the LASMA office, and that this car should be booked. This car should be booked. I begin to wonder and I start asking questions that on a Sunday when the road is free, normally commercials stay on that road, even on a working day. But I'm not trying to compare myself to them. But I don't know who these whistleblowers are or how they are being employed to go on the road. Even at times they go to mechanic workshop and video cars and say that the car has committed an offense. So I need a better clarification of that, sir,
Okay.
if that is what they are asked to do.
No, that's not what they're asked to do. Okay, so let me clarify something. Yeah.
Okay, sir.
If for any reason let me take for instance this one that happened to you, there's no parking. If there's no parking on a particular venue or road, whether it's Saturday, Sunday, Monday, Friday, Tuesday, it doesn't matter, right? If you're not supposed to park there, you're not supposed to park there, right? Irregardless of the day of the week it is, whether weekend or not. Now let's take that aside, right? So the question you want to ask yourself is, when you were parking, did you see signs there that says no parking?
I was just going to say that when you said if there is no parking, there were no signs that there were no parking there.
Okay,
There
so
cannot be a sign of no parking and I'll still park when I know that I'll be fined.
fantastic. So this is what I want you to get, right? So if something like that comes to light, you are allowed to challenge that fine, right? So
Okay.
so nobody can give you a fine in the state without the avenue for you to challenge and present your case, right? We get a lot. You can challenge the fine that, look, show me the sign that says I'm not supposed to park here and where it is, right? If you
Okay.
can show it to me and prove it to me, I'll pay the fine. If it is not, then it's your interpretation as versus mine.
Okay.
So I will
I'm going to
encourage
have
you
to do
to
that.
challenge the fine. So let the onus be on whoever it is that is doing that.
Okay.
Please don't be afraid to challenge fines. It is something that is built into the system and it'll avail you a lot. Challenge the fine and let the position of the law be clarified.
All right. Thank you so much for that clarification, sir.
Problem.
Thank you.
Thank you. Lawal, is you what? Unmute yourself.
Okay, thank you very much.
Good evening.
Good evening, Director, and good evening, Mr. Moderator. There is this issue that I've had to assist people to have to contest is the issue of wrong billing. a vehicle that is in Ilorin will be sent a message to that they've violated traffic offences.
Okay.
Even somebody in Osogbo and somebody in Abeokuta, that has had happened severally. And what I keep getting is probably some, maybe H is being mistaken for R or something. I just want to ask if the system is better now, because it's a sort of embarrassment. The way they call, they will just say, Yare Eko Yesu ti bẹ̀rẹ̀ o, mọ́tò wà nílọrin ẹ ló ṣẹlẹ̀ Èkó. It's kind of embarrassing. And I've even from Osogbo, from Abeokuta, it's not me they will be calling, because probably because they know I work with Lagos State government. I will now have to be the interface. I will now be okay, send mail, do this and do that. I just hope the system is better. And the
Okay.
second one is on the issue of driver license.
Yes.
I have a friend that done a driver license since March last year. Up till now, she's still using paper to drive. Police keep disturbing her. So I don't know what you want to do about the issue of the driver license and limiting the period of application and the production. Thank you very much.
Okay, let's take the first one. Okay, so the first one on wrong billing or different plate number. To be quite honest with you, it has really nothing to do with the system, but we will continue to have that problem because we have a lot of issues with plate numbers on vehicles that are not exactly the way they should be. They are not readable. Either the ink has faded. I'm not talking about the ones that are out of states, but the ones that are within the states. So a lot of times what happens is when the camera picks up that plate number, either the plate number is damaged badly or it has been involved in an accident and the camera is trying its best to read a number that is being skewed. Like if you have a figure 8 and on one side, maybe it had an accident and the 8 is bent a little bit, you can take it for a 3 or it can be read as a 6 or whatever. Those are the issues that contribute 95% of the time to misappropriated license plate. So it'll assimilate a number for what it thinks it is because the number it is reading is not particularly straight. Yeah, we'll continue to work on that system. I think installing better cameras or better software that can educate readability in a more profound way. But rest assured, the consultant on the job is aware of the system, and we are trying to eliminate that problem as best as we can. Now to the one with the driver's license. Okay, so that issue with driver's license is not a Lagos State problem. Right now, as I speak to you, the driver's license in all the 36 states in the Federation are administered between the Vehicle Inspection Service, Motor Vehicle Administration Agency, and Federal Road Safety. Now, let me explain. So in Lagos State, you want to apply for a license, you go to Ministry of, Motor Vehicle Administration Agency. That's the first port of call. Then Vehicle Inspection Services will test and confirm that you actually know how to drive. And we will recommend that this person qualifies for a driver's license. Now, in order for you to get the driver's license, Federal Road Safety will do your biometrics after VIS has said this person knows how to drive. I can concur. They will take your biometrics and your picture and they will print the license. It is federal government that is holding, it is Federal Road Safety that is holding us back, not Lagos State government, right? The issue is with them, it's not with the state. But I have good news for you. So we have taken over that process because the complaints have been too many and it is very obvious they cannot handle the system. So come January, Lagos State will start producing their own license. We were supposed to start this December, but there were some minor glitches here and there. The process has been done. All the accolades have been done. So we have 4 venues that have been redesigned to accommodate that. Ojodo, which is the headquarters, I believe Surah, Lagos Island, and Lekki Station, which is, I forgot the name of this place, don't quote me, and one other place, 4 places. So we will begin to print the license in our states and not rely on federal government anymore. So it is a process that will take, well, it depends on what you want to pay, but you will be able to get your license if you can afford it that same day or within a week as standard process. That is it in a nutshell. So you not being able to get your license as at when due is not the fault of Lagos State. It is of federal road safety. And that is the situation that we are in now. But come January next year, like I said, we will take over that process and everything will be done within the state. So there will be no issues with that anymore. Now, one of the main concerns is how do we get people like yourself that you're saying now that have existing licenses that are on hold so we can procure it back into the system because you've already paid for it now. I'm not going to, do I want to charge you another one? So those are some of the issues that we need to iron out in-house before we go live. Thank you.
All right. Thank you, sir. So we are waiting for the good news. TK, unmute yourself.
Okay. Good evening, everybody. Good evening, sirs.
Good evening.
I had asked a question previously on the chat, but I guess it wasn't looked at. So my initial question had to do with the issue of the timing and the scheduling for us to do our vehicle inspection, but you had answered that earlier when you said you were going to go automated next year. We hope it will be from January. So, because a lot of times you have to leave work as civil servants, you leave your place of work to get to take your vehicle there and you waste so much time. Sometimes you don't even get done that day and you have to tell your boss you have to go again another day. And
Okay.
it's always a big issue.
Apologize
And
for that.
okay, sorry. I was also going to suggest if they could work on Saturdays, if there's like a kind of shift issue so that they work on Saturdays, so that makes it easier for some people who simply cannot get the time away, and so that we don't get caught up with having to pay a fine.
It is a possibility, and those is one of the criteria that we're looking at working on Saturdays. But here's the thing, it sounds easier said than done, right? So of course nobody really wants to work on Saturday, but look, if it's gonna make things a lot easier, we'll just have to find a way to do a rotational shift in where officers are distributed appropriately to different venues to do those things. But I think part of the challenge would be which venues do you want to open on the weekends? Because you definitely can't open all the venues. So
yes,
it'll have to be a pick and choose of critical venues that will allow us to maximize the time on the weekend so that we can get the most people in and then we go from there. But it's definitely something that's on the table, and we will come back to you shortly on that.
All right. So my second question, sir, will be the issue of exemption for vehicles, the VIO exemption for vehicles. What are the criteria and how long does it last for a new vehicle?
Okay, that's a fantastic question. I was hoping somebody would bring that up and I don't have to say it myself. All right, so here's the thing, right? Now, when you are talking about exemption, if you are talking about your own personal car that you use your money to buy as a private citizen, not as a public servant that was given a ministry vehicle by the ministry or by public service office. As a private citizen, you buy a car. Law says that you can get an exemption for 5 years from the date of manufacture on that car. For example, your vehicle was manufactured in the year 2024, which was last year. So under that rule, you will get 4 years remaining. So we'll just give you an exemption for the remaining 4 years. Now, here's the caveat. Yeah. Although I don't usually enforce it, but I need to let people know. If you buy, as a private citizen, if you buy a vehicle with a bank loan, right? So under the loan or under the registration of the vehicle, it'll say this vehicle belongs to the bank / your name, right?
Mhm.
So under Lagos state law, you do not qualify for an exemption because a bank still owns that vehicle, and that vehicle is classified as an entity, a commercial entity under Lagos state law. Now, I recognize the fact that you bought it and you are making payments for it. You know, eventually it'll become yours. So, you know, if you come, we will educate and, you know, give it to you on a technicality. But I also need you to understand that vehicles that are purchased under ministry or that PSO gives you, it will say Lagos state government on the documentation of that vehicle, and you do not qualify for exemption.
Okay.
So in order to get that exemption, either the ministry will have to write that that vehicle has been ceded to you. Not assigned to you. Assigned to you means it belongs to the state. It belongs to the ministry. Ceded to you means that they have given it to you, but your name is just not on the documentation. Are you with me?
Yes, sir.
So those are the clarifications on the exemption. Because even the state is classified as a commercial entity.
Oh, okay. Okay. So, sorry, let me get a final clarification here.
Okay.
What you have said is that it is from the date of manufacture of the vehicle
The
and
date
not
of
when it was
manufacture.
purchased. Okay.
Yes.
So
So
if I purchase 2 years, 3 years after it was manufactured, I will get, let's assume it was manufactured 3 years ago.
yeah,
and I
you get the
purchased it
remainder of
only 2
the
years.
2 years that's left.
Okay, all right. Okay. I think that's a good thing. So it's for 5 years and it's only for private vehicle
Private
owners.
vehicles, not commercial vehicles.
Okay.
And
And
I think for you or for most people, that lesson, yes, it's good that we're talking about it, but I think we, Vehicle Inspection Service, needs to get that message to people that sell cars, dealers, certified dealers, and the likes of them, because even themselves are not familiar with that, because it should be a selling point for me to sell my car. That, look, if you buy this car, you fall under exemption. Nobody's going to give you roadworthiness certificate for the social number of years that is left. Are you with me?
yes, sir.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Thank you, sir. That's clarified a lot of things, because what we've had happening is that officers tend to harass. Well, let me not use the word harass, but officers will ask several times to say that, oh, you don't have an exemption, and you're like, it's a new vehicle. It's barely 2 years old. And they will tell you that it doesn't matter. And for whatever reason, they will say, because you don't have the roadworthiness, and therefore. And I'm like, why should I get a roadworthiness for a 2-year-old car?
Okay, so let me also clarify that. Okay, so what you are assuming is that as a matter of principle, the state should already know that this is a brand new car, which, yeah, under normal circumstances, we do. But I have to also tell you there are a lot of falsifications in the system, even with new cars. Vehicles that you think are new cars, they are not.
Okay.
VIN numbers that have been duplicated, chassis numbers that have been duplicated, erased, dubious things. So we don't take it on face value. You have to apply for the exemption. When you apply, they will now inspect the vehicle that, yes, truly indeed, this is a new vehicle. This is the year we have tech that can detect those things. It will tell you where the vehicle was manufactured, the day it was manufactured, what it came with, what it did not come in, the color, everything. So it'll lay it out. Once we get that certification, the exemption will come out in less than 1 hour. You will get.
All right.
Hello?
Are you okay with that? Do you see about that question?
Well, I was just going to ask that, is there any particular, apart from the headquarters at Ojodu, is there anywhere else we can go for the exemption? Is it done at every center?
No, it's not done at every center because the facility to do that, carry out that inspection is only at HQ.
Okay.
So for now, it is only HQ that has that facility and the equipment to do that, unfortunately. So you're going to have to do it there.
Okay. All right. Thank you very much, sir.
You're welcome.
Thank you. Okay, thank you so much, sir. Let me check the chat box if you have any before we wrap it up. Salami Yunusa. I said, my director, sir, along with the mention of Lagos State beginning its own production of driver licenses, I hope that when stopped by the FRSC, as in that Federal Road Safety, during this road check, the assistant will not mistakenly identify it as fake license.
Okay, that's a fantastic question. So those are one of the agreements in which we entered between the state and Federal Road Safety. Those are critical aspects of the agreement going forward. So there should be nothing like that, because we have discussed this issue before the agreement was signed and dotted. We will populate Federal Road Safety database with license we produce in the state, because that is their job, really. Each state, if things were to go the way they are supposed to, driver's license is a state function, right? The federal government under Federal Road Safety is to assimilate all the database from each state and disseminate to know who has a valid license or not. So we have taken that into consideration, and that should not be an issue at all.
All right, sir. Moyashori Akamo, good evening. Moyashori Akamo, unmute yourself. Good evening.
Good evening, sir.
Good evening,
good evening,
ma'am.
moderator. Thank you very much
Good
for
evening, madam. How are you?
very well, sir. Alhamdulillah. Thank you very much for this session. I listened to you when you were talking about the commercial yellow bus drivers and their
wahala.
And their wahala. Yes. And I've had this on my mind for a while.
Okay.
I said I've had this on my mind for a while.
Okay.
Most of the parks, their garages where they are supposed to be to, load, take their pick passengers and all that. Okay. Most of these garages are now
marketplaces.
So I think this forced them out onto the road, because although we don't have many of them in Lagos, I mean, motor garages, but the few that we have, 60 to 70% of the places are now stalls and all that. And so these buses are forced onto the road. And that's why we find them, picking passengers on the way because they don't have. So I don't know what the Lagos state government can do. When I go to work every morning, I abandoned Iyanokwaja and rather go through the express. Iyanokwaja is the fastest from my house. But before I get to Iyanokwaja, just after Boyi, there's always traffic. In fact, there's always traffic from that Moshalashi roundabout up till oftentimes is light, and then you have this traffic all the way. And sometimes these guys will stand in the middle of the road, allowing all their buses to move out, holding sticks, hitting the sticks on the road. And at Iyanokwaja roundabout, we have the police, we have the LASMA, we have all of them there. So many of them. It's just before that junction, and that's what we have every morning. So I feel that something should be done about these garages so that if government can recover them for the purpose for which these garages were created, then we'll have less of these issues on the road. Thank you very much, sir.
Okay, that's a good point. That's a valid one. I'll take that with me, and when we convene on Monday, I will discuss that internally, and then we'll see what we can do about it. It's a big issue that you've raised, and more importantly, I think you're on the right path. And like I said, I will take it with me on Monday, and then we'll see what we can do about it. Thank you, madam.
All right, thank you, sir. Mr. Abiodun Awe.
Hello, thank you, sir. Good evening once again, sir.
How are you, sir?
I'm doing fine. Thank you, sir. I want to ask, except I miss within the period you are speaking, the issue of vehicles that are not Lagos State licensed number plates. We saw that most of the time we have these Lagos State vehicles that are licensed and are registered and on the database of Lagos. It's easier for us most often to be able to, have them captioned and have issues around them, be able to resolve traffic matters, able to also, work around traffic laws. But more often, I can't get the percentage as well. The data are not a clear one. I know we have a better percentage of vehicles that are not Lagos number plates. Maybe most of them, maybe Abuja, even Ogun, or even those who are not. The number, I'm sure, is the manufacturer number you cannot even see, even on art. Maybe they are blinded, they are rough, and especially even the trucks. I say around Beduleki Aja here, I can tell you for every 40 trucks that move on the road, you cannot see 2 of them that are numbered. Or even when they are numbered, they are not registered numbered. Because more often we have issues that they are breaking down or they have an accident, and most often we have all of those. Some of them are so wicked, some of them are for sand, and we have PRS around my place. I can boast of 2 units of PRS. One is in Igodo, another one is in around Lakwe there. And I tell you, we have our men working in there. But that area is a place where laws are not even obeyed, and there is nobody that is cautioning them. I can tell you for free because this is what I see every other day. And most of the VIS officers there, myself, I engage them as a public servant. I engage, and I tell them for every other time, there are some people you'll be able to pick because they have a license number plates that are registered in Lagos. I want to ask that, sir, that is there any law, is there any rule that allows vehicles that are not Lagos number plated to stay as much as maybe some months or years, that they can reside in that same place and have their vehicle registered in another state or registered in Federal Capital Territory. And they roam about in Lagos driving recklessly and suicidally without any cause to reprimand them. So that's the area I want to speak to, sir. Thank you, sir.
Okay, so that's a fantastic question. So to answer you in the simplest terms, right? So we can pick them up, but the issue is data identification. So what we have embarked on late last year and going forward this year, we've been able to get in touch with other states, at least if they can make available for us the database on all vehicles on their assets, right? So that we can share. Now, part of the agreement or part of the discussion is, look, if you can give us that asset in terms of vehicular database, who owns it, where they live, blah, 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 and you can assist us in finding or giving them offenses, traffic offenses and violations, we will allocate some of that revenue to you, right, in assisting us. Because even if we apprehend them here, getting the data is one thing. And I said earlier also, parking vehicles in zones is another issue. There is only so much space. And aside from the space, we have to be responsible for the vehicle if we keep it overnight or whatever. God forbid something happens. That is a fallacy on the state government. It's not something that we like to do. So a collaboration with other states, especially with Ogun State, Port Harcourt, and Abuja, so we can have that database of vehicles. So we have entered into that discussion with them, and hopefully we can sign an agreement in terms of data sharing. And I also want to say that the same consultant that is doing the camera-based systems for us here is also going to launch in those other states. So that data sharing, so if you feel that you can come to Lagos State and do a violation, the camera will catch you and you can escape. It's going to be a thing of the past. So I think they're going to be launching early this January to go live. So if you live in Abuja or you live in Ogun State and Port Harcourt, we certainly can reach you and find who you are, and then we'll meet out the appropriate fine for the offense in which you commit. So I think that's a process that is going to begin next year. We've seen that come to light.
All right, thank you so much, sir. So Oluwaseun Olorunfemi, unmute yourself.
Good evening, everybody, and compliments of the season.
Good evening.
Okay, thank you. I had a comment in what's name, but from the comment I also realized that I put in the chat box that driving on the road is duty of care. Everybody owns each other, owes each other. The pedestrian knowing what to do and how to walk part time. Everybody driving, knowing how to the traffic rules. Then based on the issue of where the commercial vehicles are parked.
Yes, sir.
Basic traffic rule says that you shouldn't park about less than 100 meters, 100 yards from a junction. Majority of our our quote and unquote parks on the road now are usually by a junction. So we are coming out of a junction, you are meeting kekes, buses and everything just by the junction itself, causing a traffic delay at major junctions. Working with LASTMA, for example, now, is it possible that LASTMA people enforce that nobody parks in front of this onto this particular junction, so that at least that people can move out easily from major junctions. Example, when I'm going to work every day, there is this junction. Okay, by College Road, by Iju Road. Kekes are parked there. But recently, a car dealer has come to that junction now. So he has moved them a little bit to the front. Because of that car dealer now, that traffic has been easing a little bit because they are not parking there. But you have these Okada people now, and you know many of the Okada people know English. They just park indiscriminately over there now. Can we, with last month, enforce that? Please don't park by this one. At least it can aid traffic movement. Thank you, sir.
Yeah, it's definitely a possibility. So it's not something out of reach. And I know LASMA do it on a regular basis, but so the issue is not whether LASMA does it. The issue is how often should LASMA be there? Should they station officers there permanently when we have needs everywhere else? So they come and go. I think this year, because Lagos State Parking Authority, another agency, will go live in terms of street parking 2026. You will see avenue in that aspect where either we'll do one or two things. Either we'll close the closest garages that is encouraging that unruly behavior, or we'll dismantle the operational setup of the bikes or the keke maruas or the korokways or whatever within that sector and just tell them to go. I think those are one of the scenarios in which we are looking at going into 2026 and how to free up junctions that are indiscriminate in their parking. And that also stems from the fact that, look, when you look at public transportation as a whole, there are more vehicles than there are people, right? So at present point, anybody can buy a commercial vehicle and put it on the road, and we sell plate numbers to them, right? So we need to be functional in our approach there. If you buy a commercial vehicle, I should be asking you, Mr. A, where are you looking to utilize your vehicle? Is it in this area? If it is in this area, no, I don't want vehicles in this area. And we have reached maximum vehicles in that area. We are even trying to decongest, because the reason they park on the road is because even the garages in which they operate are full, right? And they don't have designated parking. So you cannot buy a commercial vehicle and you don't know where you want to park it. And you feel you can just park it on the road. The amount of commercial vehicles on our road is more than the people that they want to carry. That is one of the problems that we're having, right? It's because everybody wants to do, well, mostly everybody wants to do it, and they just do it without repercussions to other road users and the community at large. So I think going forward, LASPAC and LASMA, and if we need to join them, we will assist them in doing that. So yeah, it's something that is doable, sir, and I'll take that back as well.
Okay, thanks so much, sir. So let me take this last question. Zoom user, next time we don't take the name we don't know, but you might have a important question. Zoom user, can you unmute yourself?
Is that me?
Yeah, that's easy.
Okay, yes. We see you as Zoom user here. What's the name?
I'm sorry, this is Dr. John Rojo. I'm calling from the US.
Okay.
I was sent this by a friend of mine from Lagos. Sorry about that.
No problem.
Yeah. Well, I was just trying to understand somebody was saying something about some people that have tag from another state. So how does that stop anybody? If the person does something wrong, can't they just do what they need to do, even if it's from another state? So because I'm lost as far as okay, the friends from Port Harcourt or from Abuja or from another state or what have you. So what does that have to do with the tag that, if they are doing something wrong, basically, how would that stop them from, if they need to be arrested or if they need to be, if they need to be corrected? What would the tag, the license plate number have to do with, where they're from?
Okay,
Or maybe
so
I'm missing something.
okay, so let me explain that. So what he was saying is that vehicles from another state, we don't keep their database within Lagos State. And what I said basically, yes, it is true. But what you also find is when you go to other states, most of them don't have a digital database of their vehicles on their assets that they have in the state. And I said that Lagos State, as a matter of urgency, we have been liaising with other prominent states that have a catalog of vehicles within their jurisdictions, like Ogun State, Port Harcourt, Abuja, and various states like that, so we can form a synergy. So if you violate a traffic offense in any of those states, we can syndicate information for the user to be apprehended or to be notified that you have committed such and such traffic offense. That was the criteria for that question. So going forward, we will we will share database in trying to apprehend users that violate traffic offenses. So.
Okay, hello.
Yes.
Can I have a follow-up? Okay, if they commit an offense right there in Lagos,
yes.
Okay, why can't they, arrest them or do what they need to do?
No, sometimes we arrest them, but in the case where there are no officers within that vicinity and all we have is cameras, right? All we have is tech equipment that can just verify the details of the vehicle. That is what the question.
Oh, okay. I
get
see
it
now.
now, sir.
Okay, now, okay. I see now. Okay,
so
okay.
Collaborating with those states and sharing an API in terms of database for their own assets will allow us to work cohesively in apprehending vehicle owners that violate traffic laws.
Oh, okay. So okay. I see. Okay. So okay. Thank you so very much. I appreciate it.
No problem.
Okay. God bless. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Happy holidays to everybody.
Same to you.
So thank you so much, sir. So let me just run through the chat box to know if we still have any question.
Okay.
Lawal Azan, well done, sir. Okay. Lawal Azan said, well done, sir. Lagos State need to look into vehicle license matter. When a car is not used, it also need to be charged. Comparing with other states, even Abuja, sir. Okay, I think that has been answered before.
Yeah.
Okay, that has been answered. Okay, Salami Yunusa Yinka, my director, sir, along with the mention of Lagos State beginning its own, okay, we have answered that too.
Yes, we have.
Okay, yeah, Shakir Logun. To where do I direct my complaint and issue to? Okay. Is there any 797 or 911 or
No. So when you say direct your complaints, you have to have been sent a violation for you to direct your complaint. So if you if you go to the chat box, I am typing in the website that is responsible for all VIS related fines that have been issued. You can go in there You can type in your plate number, see if you have any violation. And if you do not agree with that violation, you can challenge it and they will answer you. But you have to be able to prove your case. Now, note that also under that Pay VIS, there are, because we have integrated, there will be fines that have been issued by LASMA as well that show up on that platform. So if you are going to challenge that, you will need to liaise with LASMA because that is where the system is. So LASMA will deal with LASMA fines and VIS will deal with VIS fines. But under Lagos State, we share the same platform because you can see your fines across all platforms. So payvis.ng, you can go to that site and put in your plate number and see, it'll tell you if you have any violations. And if you do and you don't agree, you can challenge it or you can pay your fine. It's just as simple as that.
All right. And if you have any question, especially if you are booked, there is a place you can contest it and lodge your complaint to.
Yes, sir.
So the Zoom user, the partisan from UST saying that but 80% of these vehicles are not roadworthy and dangerous, are deadly. How does the state allow this vehicle? So I don't know the vehicle is trying to mention about. Is it commercial vehicles or private vehicle?
He's probably talking about the commercial vehicles. And
All right.
like I mentioned before, we are working to eradicate a lot of them. But it is not a simple process as just saying on this platform. There are steps and procedures into trying to get downfalls or these rickety vehicles off the road. Like I said earlier, on a daily basis, we apprehend about 50. Now, to make the case even more significant, you will find that vehicles from other states come to Lagos State to come and work because of the population that we have and the viability of making more or better income with that cluster of people. So it's not an easy task. We will continue to endeavor. I mentioned that the Ministry of Transport is endeavoring on the bus reform project. And part of that project is to see how we can replace all these expired vehicles, I want to call them, because a lot of them, they don't have parts for them anymore. They just keep recycling the same thing over and over again. But you need to be able to provide an avenue for them to replenish what they have in existence. So by assessing and reevaluating the criteria in which they operate and bringing them into unison, I think that will provide us a platform to at least get a majority of them off the road. Part of the problem also is we allow individuals to engage in commercial activities, whereas it is very difficult to chase an individual around. So going forward, one of the things that we're looking into is to say you as an individual are not going to be able to do commercial activities on your own. You have to be part of a conglomerate. We are not saying you cannot do commercial activity, but you will not be able to do it on your own. As in, you will not be able to just buy a vehicle, register it, and say, I'm operating as a commercial entity. No. So we want to change that ideology. We want to bring them into clusters, groups, cooperatives, whatever you want to call them. They have to be an entity. It can be 50, it can be 100. You are part of that conglomerate and you answer to that conglomerate. The conglomerate answers to the ministry and the state. I think that's a better approach to that problem. And if anything were to happen, So we will regulate the conglomerate. You're only allowed to have this type of vehicles going forward. You can only operate at this particular time in this area, things like that. I think that will allow us to bring some of these issues that we're having to the barest minimum. Thank you.
Thank you so much, sir. Thank you so much to all participants. Last not on the list, okay, the man from US said, okay, yeah, you guys are doing a great job. Okay, if this vehicle attack, they need to be towed away, never to see
which
the
we
road
do.
again.
We do. Some vehicles, when
Okay.
we operate, when we seize them, that's the end of it. There's no recourse for you to come and claim them back. We don't even give them fines. It is just gone. And then, you don't see them anymore.
Okay. So, Mr. Abiodun Awe still saying that my question on Ricketts truck without number plate or container has not been answered, and I was muted to tell the director.
No, you don't need to be muted. Okay, so on rickety trucks, without number plates. Now, one thing I want you to understand. Okay, so when you look at Lagos State, 85 to 90% of trucks that operate in this state come from outside, right? They come in at odd hours and unbelievable. Fine, okay. It's part of the responsibility for the state to educate on whether they can operate on the roads, but it's not as easy as you think. So when rickety trucks come in through the back door, right, and you catch as many as you can. Now, a lot of them don't know the rules and regulations of road operations. Some of them don't have driver's license. So we believe you me, we apprehend a lot of them. But there's also this belief that if I haven't, well, it's not a belief, because if you look at it, we have the ports and most things come into Nigeria through Lagos State. So they come here for business. And because of the nature of the state itself, at this point in time, we are not able to cover all points. We will get to that point. We are doing a restructure in how we move about. So I don't want to give out everything, but trust me, we are trying to reformulate or rejig the system where the chase of these rickety vehicles without plate numbers, without proper documentation, it will be to our advantage, where we spend less time chasing them around, but we actually attack and proceed from where the business that they want to come and get is waiting. So we will wait for them there. I think that's a better approach than trying to tackle them on the streets of Lagos, which can be dangerous. So it is not a good scenario sometimes, but I think that approach of going to where the business that they want to do is and preventing them or waiting for them there is a better systematic approach to that solution of the problem of rickety vehicles. I mean, if you know you cannot come here to come and load anything or come and carry anything, then you go back to where you're coming from, because you will not be able to do that business here. So that also takes into consideration the safety of our officers, like I said. So I'm not sure a lot of you are aware of some of the safety issues some of these officers go through. So that has to be put into consideration, especially for rickety vehicles who don't care about, they themselves don't even care about their own lives, not to talk about the officers that wants to stop them. So that's it in a nutshell.
Yes, sir. My director, sir, if you permit 1 minute, sir, what I spoke to is that there are some areas, the concentration of, we can't run around after them. Officer safety and life is also very, very important to us.
Absolutely.
But there are some areas, you have them concentrated there.
Okay.
I said, like, okay, we have within Ibejuleki, between Epe and Naija, the area where mining takes place is more than 5-10 places. And this is where we have these trucks that are on license, they are unnumbered, and they are rigged, and when they go on the road. And I said, there are 2 units of BIS that I know. One is in Igodo and one is in Lakwe. And the concentration of where we have these trucks that
Yes.
are not number plated and they drive like suicidal or murderers are on this same road where we have our VIS. I don't tell any VIS to block them on the road. I don't want them to ram on them. I don't want them to cause a suicidal enforcement. But we can go to them. We can speak to them. We can orientate them. We can make them know they need to have number plates on their vehicle. That in case anything even happen, we'll be able to trace. I've seen
Listen.
situations where I have accidents, and we cannot even trace the family of these people. Well, the only thing we will not allow them to start rotting and giving us smell around that area before they just. These are the issues within that area, and I can tell you for free, sir. In front of the what do we call it now? There is this popular place in Shangotedo, ShopRite. There was even one there. It's over 3 months now. If I'm not exaggerating, it's over 4 or 5 months. It's a trailer without number. He has the container on top of his head, and he went and slammed into the whole of the place. The container had been removed, but the trailer itself is on the road, back there for over 4 months now, and it's still on that road like I'm talking tonight. I've not seen any agency that find it worthy that they have to remove a trailer that had an accident, block the whole road over the night, and 4 months on the run. He's still on the express road in front of ShopRite at Shangotedo.
Okay.
So it's a big thing to speak to.
I have noted that. Okay, so but you also agree with me on what I said before. So in terms of when we change our strategy, so for the rickety vehicles, for the vehicles that don't have any documentation, no plate number and stuff like that, at the end of the day, they want to work. You agree with me? They want to work. So if the work that they want to do will prevent them from doing it and they cannot work, they will go somewhere else. Like most of those vehicles that you're talking about, they work at mining sites to carry wet sand, to carry all this by the waterfront, especially in that Ibejuleke area. I've been there before, sir. I think your points are valid, and we have been and we still are talking to them in terms of telling them to do the right thing. But I think at this point, they have resorted to their own mind that it is not worth their time. And so in order to get a leeway for everybody concerned, if we are saying that you cannot walk, you cannot come and carry anything here, I will not allow you. I think that's a better way to start fighting on the road or trying to stop them on the road, because they're not easy to stop. And when they get into altercations, the escalation is usually results in things that are beyond our control. So, but on the one on the vehicle that had an accident, I will endeavor to call LRU to see, or LASTMA to see how they can help remove that infraction on the road so that people can have better access to that area.
Okay, thank you so much, sir. We have spent more than our time, but last but not on the list, Ismaila Ogunbambi, please, quick one. Unmute yourself. Ismaila Ogunbambi.
Good evening, sir.
Good evening.
Good evening. Quick one.
Yeah. A very beautiful lecture, sir. I ran a connection the other time, but I don't know if this question has been asked before. It is basically that has to do with the yellow buses. I don't know. Is it that they are immune from the traffic lights, or there's no way that they can curb their menace on our roads. I don't seem to understand how they normally get away with so much atrocities that they cause on the road. And you see that most of the time. I've never read in the news that these yellow buses were impounded, X numbers of these yellow buses were taken off the road for. But you see private cars that are well to do, that are in good order, they keep having issues with the officers of the VIO, but they keep ignoring the yellow buses.
Okay,
Some
Mr.
of them are in a
Agumambi.
very decrepit state and they keep plying the roads.
Okay.
But you see guys that are well okay and they have issues. I don't know what's going on, sir. Can you please shed more light on that?
Okay.
Thank you, sir.
All right. So what you're saying, like I said earlier, is an assumption. Okay. So I said earlier, on a daily basis, I have 43 zones under my command. We apprehend close to 50 or even over 50 every day. Danfos, right? Rickety ones. They are not immune, but there are issues that we need to discuss within ourselves also. So I said earlier that the state is embarking on reforms to bring about the removal of danfos on our roads, which is called the Bus Reform Initiative. It is not an overnight thing. It's a process in which you revamp the existing infrastructure to bring in new and better commuter commercial buses that people can use. The simple fact of the matter is, it is not that we cannot get rid of danfos. If at present I remove all the danfos in Lagos State, which we can do, it is Lagosians themselves that will suffer, because we cannot replace the vehicles that we are taking off the road that fast. Now, having said that, we must do it systematically. As I speak to you right now, we are running a bus reform initiative. We are test piloting it on the Lekki axis, where we have removed some criteria from that operation, which is you as an individual can no longer run public transport. You have to be part of a conglomerate. Part of the problem with danfos is that too many individuals, one person owner owns this one, and you cannot, how many of them do you want to chase, right? The other problem is they are that many, right? There are more danfos than there are passengers. This is why they drive and operate indiscriminately, trying to outpace each other, right? So that approach has to be systematical. Now, you will see that the approach is on two fronts. Mr. Governor is pushing heavily for rail transportation to be the forefront of public transport in the state. That will allow us to free up the roads if we can get rail transport in critical areas, right? So if we can free up the roads, we can manage them better. Now, the other aspect of it is that now you say, or you think that we don't do anything about them. And I want to tell you that is an assumption. I stated earlier that VIS alone, I'm not talking about last mile, VIS alone apprehend 50 a day, right? So when you look at that, you have to take into account also officer safety, because some of them, a lot of them have behavioral issues, right? So aside from the drivers themselves, the passengers inside the vehicle are maybe out of frustration or what have you not. They themselves contribute to the issue, right? So it's something that there's no magic wand, and it is not a situation where one solution is the best answer. So this approach is many prongs. They are not exempt, and we don't exempt them from anything. We apprehend them just like anybody else. It's just that you don't see that aspect of it. So a lot of times, let me give you an example. So a lot of times, officers will just note the vehicle number and the vehicle itself. Some of them know the drivers, and they go to the park to go and meet the chairman. This particular vehicle, I want it. If you do not provide it, we will close down the park. Believe you me, they provide them. But as much as we do all of that, we have to be pragmatic in our approach. Yeah, we have to be pragmatic in our approach in that you must have an alternative for the people and the vehicle owners themselves, the danfo drivers, to you don't want to chase them off the road to nothing, because you create more problems than you can solve, right? So you must manage the situation to a point where you can comfortably eradicate them from the road without much rich cost to the public. So I'm trying to tell you that it's not a straightforward answer like you see it, and that just get them off the road. Get them off the road, yes, but there has to be tangible assets that are in place to relieve that stress of getting them off the road. Are you with me, sir? Hello?
Yes, sir, I'm listening, sir.
So
100%,
yes,
sir.
so what I want to say in a nutshell is the issue of danfo, the yellow buses, you will see improvements going forward in 2026. I think we've come to a point where that situation has been flogged many times, but we are ready with some partial solutions that will bring about at least some sanity in terms of how they operate going forward. So that's what I want to say for now. Let's just leave it at that.
All right. Thank you so much, sir. You really did a fantastic job today, sir. Please, this is our YouTube channel for you to access our past sessions. You can go to our YouTube channel and pick any of your choice, especially if you are a civil servant, to have what it is. This is the only channel that you can connect and close to government. So here we call on any of our participants to appreciate our facilitator. So on this note, I will call on Mr. Jamiu Abiodun Awi to help us appreciate our facilitators.
Good evening, Oloko, well done. Let me also, yes, good evening, Mr. Jamiu. Let me use this opportunity before I congratulate, before I appreciate our director, to also congratulate you. I think this is the first program, public program you're having after your award. I actually joined you. So I want to also make a public congratulations to you on this feat. So having said that, I come back to our director. I actually had a private chat with you just to say thank you for your leadership. We appreciate you, and we appreciate the way you answer our questions, even while some of them had some diplomatic way to go. It's not everything you just speak like a bottle of milk. We do understand that, and we also understand the security and the safety part of our officers, while some information are also supposed to be as discreet as possible. We want to thank you for your time for this weekend and this season that we are giving all that you could do within the time frame. You spent almost 2.5 hours. We want to appreciate you so much, and also not appreciating as a public servant. We see today that the people within a diverse area, even those who are outside Nigeria, have actually joined us, and they've learned the past lesson on what PRS is all about. So we want to say we'll have more of you at every other time that you are needed on this. The orientation continues, and I think we should be part of the system to make us learn more and more. On behalf of Knowledge Hub, PSKH, Alausa, and all the public servants on this call and who are not able to join, we want to say thank you and thank you so much for this time you've given us. We don't take it for granted and we always appreciate you. Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you very much. I must dove my hat for Mr. Jamiu for inviting me. It's always a pleasure to share knowledge. And I want to assure everybody on this platform that, look, whatever issues that you are having, there is a solution. There's compromise, there's solutions. So we are a listening MDA, and I want to encourage you that even when you see officers doing the wrong thing, please, you are not doing them any favor by keeping silent, but you are doing yourself and the state a big favor by allowing us to correct the situation before it gets out of hand. I want to appreciate Mr. Jamiu, because without him, I wouldn't be here talking, and we wouldn't confront each other with all these issues that is pertinent to all of us, because we all use the road, regardless of whether you're a public servant or not. We all use the same road. There's no private road for civil servants, and there's no private road for private users. So I thank you again, and I appreciate all your efforts and your questions and your solutions. Thank you.
All right. Thank you so much, sir. Thank you so much, everyone. Bye. Have a lovely night rest.
All right. Thank you. Good night, everyone.
Good night.
Good night.